Hello again and welcome back to our Fanatec series, and now we are going to be putting together the pedals. So you've seen us unboxing them, you've seen what's come included, and now we're going to go through the pedals. I've familiarised myself with a quick start guide, but obviously they are still here if I need them. So first off, the wheelbase, you get this little plastic bit. This plastic bit needs to come off. We're just going to pop that out of the way just there. So what you see on the bottom is these grooves here, which is where all of your pedals get bolted to. So you can put it anywhere along that line there. So usually your accelerator is going to be furthest left, furthest right, brake in the middle, clutch on the left. So we're going to go with that thing. But then you've got the LoadCell kit here, just in the middle. Excuse me. Which gets replaced with the new LoadCell. So we're going to do that first so that we've got somewhere for everything to plug into. So we should have included in the LoadCell kit, which is here, a little Allen key that is used, he hopes, to loosen off these bolts. So I'm going to do this quickly. So there we go, that's the old LoadCell. And what we have here is the new LoadCell. So what we have is we have these here, and they're slightly different, so it should, we've got this one that's only got input for the wheelbase, gas and brake. This one, however, has got USB, handbrake, clutch, brake, gas and wheelbase. So that obviously allows you to connect more stuff to it. So we're just going to pop all of these screws back in. And there we are. The new load cell is put in. So now what we're going to do is we are going to put the accelerator on, but because it's the same process for attaching them all, I'm only going to show you once, and then I'm going to carry on through the rest of them. So we put our Allen key to the side because we don't need that for now. And then what we have is we have these big bolts. So let me get one of these bolts out for you. So here we are. That's the bolt that you need for this, essentially. So we've got two of those because each pedal needs two. This one's the accelerator. Best way to check is the little tag on there will say gas. You definitely won't be able to zoom into that, but yeah, it says gas. Trust me, trust me, trust me, trust me. So you got this little channel, so all of your cables have to be through that channel. Make sure they're not up or down or anywhere else apart from in that channel there, because effectively if you put it there, this is such a firm fit that if you don't put it through there, you'll effectively be chopping it off like a little guillotine. So we're going to put the accelerator furthest left. Cable's okay at the moment, so what we need to do is nut comes off, and it's bolt, washer, washer, bolt. Pop one through there, and we'll do the same with the other one whilst we're there. Don't drop it on the floor. Do you know what we need to do first? Yeah, that's fine. And then flip it over so you can see your bolts. Pop your washers on. It's not that heavy at the moment. And then I would recommend just finger tightening it. Just for now. Like so. Like that. And then you've got your two bolts best way to do this, I reckon. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, I'm going to screw this up now, and then we'll do the same with all three, and then we'll be back. See you in a minute. Okay, so we've done two, now we're just about to screw up the final pedal. All relatively straightforward. The hardest bit is trying to pick it all up without it all falling apart on you. So plenty of desk space is what you need. Plenty. Right. Well, there we go. So, I don't know if you can see from that angle, but essentially, I've got the accelerator, I've got the brake, I've left a big gap between there to do left foot braking, and then the clutch. Now, the clutch, in a lot of modern cars, you use paddle shifting, so I'm not overly worried about having to use the clutch. So, shoot me if I'm wrong, but hey. So, in the quick start guide, it tells you about the load cell part here. Now, what it recommends is that if you're just putting these pedals on the floor, you should use the 65 Shore plugs, which I believe are the ones that we actually have on, because these are 95 and they're 85, so they're more beneficial if you're going to be mounting your wheels. Now I will be doing eventually, so keep those safe. Now, because with the load cell kit you get the extra pedal before, obviously this one used to be the brake pedal in the old one, which is why you've got this great big plastic bung here, but you can replace it. So you just pull that out and they give you a new plastic bung, such as the one that goes in the accelerator. So you can play around with how it goes. I'm not overly worried, but it literally just pushes in. He says, there we go, pushes in. And it's not quite as nice and smooth as that. There's definitely a better spring, a bigger spring in that one. There's definitely a bigger spring. Sorry for showing you my bald patch there, but you know, such is life and stress. So that's the pedals essentially. Now what we're going to do is we've got to connect these separators, I suppose. They go between the back, and essentially all they're there for is to support the pedals so that there's no sideways shift. Now, I mean, holding these, there doesn't feel like there's going to be any sideways movement. I mean, they're pretty sturdy. Stop rolling. What a numpty. So what we're going to do is we're just going to plug this bottom bit in first. Plug all of the bits that we need to in. So as I've said, when you're doing this, make sure that these are all still loose and in their channels. Otherwise, curtains for your cables. And then whilst we're down here, we're going to get the wheelbase. Now, you can connect the wheelbase one of two ways. You can connect it directly to your PC via USB, and you can do that using the included USB cable, or you can connect it via the wheelbase. I'm not sure on the compatibility between the console side of things, whether or not you would need to have it connected to the wheelbase for the console, but to save having all of the USB slots taken up in my PC, I'm going to connect it through this RJ12 cable, I think it is, through to the wheelbase, and then we're happy. So I'm just going to connect up this cable. If it goes in that one, yep, wheelbase. And then essentially this long cable will go to the wheelbase once the wheelbase is set up. So now onto the separators. So you've got these plastic panels on all of these bits that just need to be popped off. Now let's see the best way of popping these off. I think is going to be a little screwdriver, because quite frankly they're massive. Also being careful not to mark too much of the nice metal. So yeah, little metal plug, which funnily enough is always the more nightwear one. Right, okay, so there we go. So all those cables are off. Let's move our screwdriver set out of the way over there. So now what we have to do is we've got, right, let me just get the right end. You've got a load of tongue and groove spacers. Now, why does my desk have to be on a wonk? So you've got these tongue and groove spacers, which essentially, right, let me just see if I can show you. So if you put them the wrong way around, there'll be a gap. If you put them the right way around, they'll be sat flush. So what you have to do is, I don't think it goes all the way through, which is a little bit of a problem, but you can mix and match. So what we'll do is we'll put one lot through 2 pedals and then the other lot through the other 2 pedals, which will then stabilise it all. So what you have to do is, once you put it through one, then you have to start building up your support between them. Okay, so that was difficult. It was a pain in the bum. I had to go and get another wrench because it's 2 bolts that move on their own independently of one another. But we got there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fit the final one. You know what, actually I might not worry about the final one for the time being, only because I'm not going to be using the clutch very much. So anyway, these are the pedals. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place them on the floor. They are a heavy unit. So let me just show you on the floor what these all look like. So bear with me. So here we are, that's the pedals on the floor. So as I was saying, the accelerator has got some good travel in it there. Brake is pretty good, feels like a good brake, good solid brake, and the clutch is just the clutch. So anyway, that's the end of this one. Now we're going to say see you later, and we will see you in the next video. So, you know, this has been the Fanatec pedals and the LoadCell setup and everything like that. The next one will be the steering wheel unboxing so that you can see all of the delights that come in that box. So next time, we'll see you next time. See ya.